cars are coming onto the grid for what is race number 1 of round 5 for the New South Wales Production Touring Car Championship. Great field of cars here this weekend, just shy of 20 for this first race. You got BMWs, you got Mitsubishis, Toyota 86s, and everything in between. It's set to be an absolute cracker. We've got a couple of sprint races today, and then we've got the 1 hour enduro later on as well. Tomorrow, looking forward to that one. It's a bit of BMW domination at the front. Simon Hodges on the right, car number 31, and Lee Burgess on the left in number 33. There's quite a bit of BMW, quite a few BMWs up the pointy end of this grid, but we're about to get things underway. Green flag at the back, as we can see on the right hand side. 5-second board is displayed, lights are on, they're out. We're underway to begin round number 5. The Evo further back with the all-wheel drive makes a fantastic start, but at the front it's almost 3 wide down there. I think the camera angle there looking a little bit deceiving, as it often is at turn number 1, but around the outside goes Lee Burgess. A great start from him. He's going to try and close the door on the run to turn 2, but to no avail. But Hodges has gone in deep, he's gone in wide, and he's run off the road down there. Just about kept it on the concrete apron, but he did lose a couple of positions, and something I think fell off the dashboard there on the number 15 machine of Tom Shaw, who's made an absolutely blinding start from 5th position on the grid. He is up to position number 2 already. Brilliant start from the youngster there. Further down the field, there's the variety that I was just speaking of. Honda Civics, Holdens, good old V8 Holdens, a few smaller powered BMWs as well. There are a few different classes. I'll touch on that as the racing goes on, but at the moment let's look at this first lap action. Look at the driver of number 15, that is Shaw, working away, soaring away at the wheel through Corporate Hill, through the hairpin, and on the exit I think he's coming under pressure, and he is, from Hodges directly behind, which is certainly what the pole sitter would have been after in the Lubramax machine. He's coming back on, blue headlights ablaze. He wants to get back towards the pointy end of this field. This is a short, sharp sprint race here to kick things off at Sydney Motorsport Park. Been a long season for them. They've still got one more round to go, a season that started all the way back at One Raceway. Through goes Holt in the big, almighty, powerful Holden, up into position number 5, just demoting Williamson down there into turn 1. And speaking of demoting, up the inside comes Hodges. A great move. Through he goes, back up into position number 2. A clinical block pass up the inside at the hairpin, and that's how to do it here at SMP. A little bit twitchy though down the hill towards turn number 4, but he got it stopped nicely. Good stuff from a veteran really of production car competition. Cavic isn't too far behind either in the number 92 BMW. Ben Cavic, the race for a cure, of course. Earlier this year he was racing in the Bathurst 6 hour with Thomas Randall. A lot of these cars, if you do watch the Easter long weekend Bathurst Enduro, the 6 hour, a lot of these cars will be familiar to you, such as Hodges, of course, the number 31 machine. Back up into position number 2, and he's caught up as well to Burgess on this lap. The margin back down to just half a second, so it's closing up at the head of the field. There is no doubt about that at all. Looking on the screen at Adam Gosling in the Honda Civic, who's coming under pressure from Inwood. It's 43 versus 143 on the screen, so the battle just at the tail end of the top 10. As they come across the line to complete lap number 2. I'm interested to know who's got the straight line speed advantage, actually. Speaking of, looks like Della Quinco up the inside of Shelley into turn number 1. That's where the next round will be. One Raceway, owned by the Shelley family now, formerly known as Wakefield Park, but the two smaller class BMWs side by side around the outside. Hazelton is going to get Buttrose for the lead in Division B, I believe. Certainly having a good crack and has done so. Nicely done there. Sorry, Division D, not Division B. My apologies. Incredible, those machines just a few years ago were fighting for outright honours in the Bathurst 6 Hour, but over the years have slowly been demoted down divisions as more and more faster cars have come along. So a change for Division D then. Nice move from Hazelton to take that one up. It's Michael Hazelton, DGA Mechanical BMW 125i. Making move on a 135i. Here we are. Here's that fight then for the lead. Hodges is right on him now. Through they go, this technical final section of the lap. Always good for an overtake. I reckon Hodges will have a good straight line advantage here as he roars onto the straight in his BMW M4. He didn't quite get the exit he'd have wanted, and the little light M2 competition looks like it'll hold on this particular occasion, and does so. Good stuff here from Lee Burgess. Now they go through the notorious turn number 1. You make a mistake there, you can very much be caught out by the concrete on the left or the concrete on the right. It's a very, very fast corner over the brow of the hill. That is, of course, the access tunnel where you enter the circuit, and then down the other side you can see how the road really falls away from you on the run to the 90-degree flowing turn number 4, and then back, same style of corner, but it goes up the hill around turn number 5. You've got a bit of room to play with there on the outside, but track limits are always a talking point here at that corner. So number 6 is being reprofiled in recent years. As look at this, Cabbage coming under pressure from Holt. Didn't expect to see this. I will be honest, Cabbage in the X-Class, the outright class BMWs, coming under pressure from one of the A-Class cars, and that is Matthew Holt, an A2 class car. So that's what Blainline have kindly portrayed for us on the timing tower, the different colours for the different classes. So blacker for X-Class, A-Class is that light blue colour, and then D is for the portrayed with dark blue. So that's how you can determine the different classes. So although this is for 4th outright, it's not for class positions. But Holt won't care about that. He wants a outright 4th position. Doesn't have the poke in a straight line like I expected him to. So the M2 competition power to weight ratio certainly in his favour there as he pulls it through turn number 1. Boy, oh boy, has this race gone through quickly. We're nearly halfway through already. As Holt has a little bit of a faint look there, but nowhere near close enough on that particular occasion. Burgess continues to lead out in front. He slightly extended that margin, actually. Now look, out to 0.7 of a second. Great to see at a state race meeting that we have sector splits. You don't see that too often. Normally they are saved for national race meetings. So you can clearly see sector by sector how much things are chopping and changing. A nice run out of turn 5 for Holt. But the Kavanagh sponsored, the Kavanagh Electric sponsored Holden not close enough on that occasion once again. Through Corporate Hill go the race leaders. Nose to tail they remain. Burgess from Hodges. Shaw is there or thereabouts. 1.5 seconds behind the race leader at the moment, around about a second behind Hodges, and then it's a further 3 seconds back to Cavic and Holt. What is a very entertaining battle, but look at this one. This is a great battle. Howard, Delaquinco, Shelley and Inwood all the way there, fighting from position number 7 through to position number 10. And look, the Honda Civic's closing in as well of Gosling, who can potentially make it a 5-car scrap here for position number 7. This is good stuff here to kick off New South Wales production touring cars. As I say, round number 5 here at Sydney Motorsport Park. A nice exit there from Shelley. Got a little bit squirrely, but he did get the power down nicely. The run down the long pit straight. No one's going to be close enough for a move. In fact, they've all spread out quite substantially there in a straight line, but watch them, particularly through the middle sector, to close back in once again. As we head towards turn number 2, a little bit of a faint look from the Holden driver, car number 9. It's to the Quinto. Quino, I'll get it right at some stage in this race, don't you worry about that. He's driving the DKD projects. Holden, as he comes over the brow of the hill. Aquino, the man behind the wheel, as Shelley is looking for a move up the inside there. Quite able to do so. McMaster is the series leader coming into this event, but not taking part here in this first race of the weekend. Through they go to the hairpin. Oh, a bit of a look from Inwood, but can't do it. Yes, he can. He's forced Shelley wide. Shelley gets a whole armful of understeer on the exit of the corner, and through goes Inwood. In fact, Shelley's lost an awful lot of speed on the exit of the corner, so could Gosling move through as well. Just looking at the tail of the shot now, just there is Gosling right there on the tail as they exit the final corner. It's very much copy and paste from these front two at the head of this train, and through goes Gosling. There is definitely an issue for the Shelley Evo. Something has gone wrong in the last half a lap, because that car is dropping at a rate of knots. That is a real shame for Steve Shelley in his Mitsubishi Evo 10. Of course, that was the production car, wasn't it? For many, many years. It was the Evo before these M-powered BMWs came along and took the mantle from them. And of course, the BMWs have gone on to win every edition of the Bathurst 6 Hours since. It's the BMW 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment, but Holt's trying to change that. As they head towards Corporate Hill, one of the most famous, if not the most famous corner on this track, the fast downhill left-hander towards the hairpin. A hairpin can be an overtaking opportunity if you place the car in the right place and get a great run through Corporate Hill. But time is definitely ticking, and Burgess has pulled out a bit of a margin out in front again. 0.8 of a second. It's half of that here with the fight that we're looking at the moment. Having our electrics machine on the gas on the exit of the corner. No, that M2 competition is an absolute bullet, isn't it? In a straight line. Will comfortably hold on through turn number 1. Look at that. He's pulled out 5 or 6 car lengths. That is incredible. The speed, the power of the M2 competition. Got a good variety, actually, of BMWs in the field. There are quite a few M products, from the M4 of Hodges to a couple of M2 competitions, Burgess and Cavich as well. But then also we've got a 135i. We've got an M3 as well in the hands of Brent Howard, who currently sits in position number 7 behind a couple of A-class cars. And I'm seeing Shelley continue to fall down the order. So he's now down to position number 12. He's just fallen behind the VF Commodore, driven by Sergei Yellow. And here we are further back. A good battle here. Calabria having a good look there. In fact, he's just lost the place, to Buttrose. That's been a change of position for 14th outright. So Buttrose, once he's got past Hazelton, he is absolutely bolted. He's pulled 7 seconds, really, over Hazelton, his class rival since then. So the leader in D class is doing things comfortably at the moment. in the number 47 machine, and time is ticking by now, heading towards the closing stages of this race. It's been a really good opening encounter. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Battles as we've come to expect in this championship, all the way through the field. Spread out a little bit. There's Shelley. He's going to come under pressure, potentially from more cars late on in this race. That is for sure. Around the final corner, the 86 has got through on Gosling. Or has he gone down? No, he's definitely down a lap, isn't he? I was going to say, where on earth does that 86 come from? Well, yeah, going down a lap. So shame for the number 23 machine out there at the moment. Francesco Tiliano from Western Australia. It's a very sounding, very Italian sounding name, isn't it? But there is no doubt. Through they go though. Around turn number 3. Great to have the West Aussie here this weekend. What a trip that is, all the way from the opposite side of the country. And this is not a small country, is it? The land down under. Here we are though. Let's turn our attention back to the motor race, because we are getting to the real closing stages now. Mistake there from Howard. He ran a little bit wide through turn 5 and up the inside. Goes Delaquino. Can't quite make it stick. The door is closed firmly in his face. Here they come then to the line. Last lap board has been displayed. They're catching the Toyota 86, car number 85, the back marker. Could that car play a factor in the closing stages of this one? The final lap of the race. Burgess feels the need to go defensive down into turn number 2. Not sure Hodges was actually close enough on that occasion to launch and move up the inside. But Burgess did go defensive. Oh, great heads-up driving from Sibai there to move out of harm's way and let the leaders go about this battle on the final lap. Overtaking opportunities are diminishing. There's really only a couple left. Turn number 5 out of this sweeping corner here. Or sorry, turn number 6, I should say. Oh, look at that bouncing out of the corner for Burgess as he tries to get on the power. Further back, the Inwood BMW there ran really wide out of turn number 1. He's been able to keep it together in what is a scintillating fight for 7th place. It did have 5 cars in it. It now just has the 3. And who's going to prevail in that battle? Well, we will have to wait and see, won't we? Through they go. A mistake from Howard. Just left the door slightly ajar. Very much so there, and almost leaving the door open for the big, bulky Holden to fire up the inside. But around the final sequence of corner, it's going to be a drag race to the line, actually. Burgess gets the power down nicely. Hodges is right in the slipstream, but it's not going to be enough. Burgess is just about going to hold on. Great race between the pair. Burgess did not put a foot wrong and takes the race victory. The official margin, 0.3 of a second at the end. Holt has made it through on Kavich as well in the last couple of laps, so he takes 4th position and the class honours. But behind that, Howard is just about holding on. Right behind, Delquino is throwing everything at him. He's going to use all the road on the outside of the final corner. He's got great momentum, but I think that start line's just a little bit too close, or the finish line on this occasion is just a bit too close. And Howard does indeed hold on for position number 7. Delquino does finish 3rd in class ahead of Inwood and Gosling, who rounds out the top 10. Steve Shelley has now dropped to position number 16. So the issues with that Evo 10 have got worse and worse as the race has gone on. Well, there was a little bit of post-race drama earlier on today. Although he crossed the line in first, Lee Burgess was one of a handful of drivers to get slapped with penalties for track limits. So I'll come on to that point a little bit later on, but it is green flag at the back. We're set for our Driver B race here this afternoon. Lights are on, they're off, we are underway. Once again, very equal jump on the front row as they fan out further behind. Steve Shelley will be keen to make up progress after a poor qualifying session sees him at the back of the field. Through they go through the first sequence of corners. Wazia now at the wheel of the BMW that's just moved up into position number 3 ahead of the Cavic car. Oh, sorry, it's Howard up into position number 3. There's Wazia in 6th, just coming under pressure from Steve Shelley in the Evo. McMaster, the championship leader, is now at the helm of car number 1, the smaller class BMW. There he is, hounding the tail of the Holden through the middle sector of the lap. So McMaster there, a good start from him. As I say, the championship leader is Andrew McMaster. He'll be clean to master a few of the bigger class cars. As up the inside comes one of those bigger class cars, the B-class BMW of Fitzgerald, who's got a lovely run out of there and will have the inside for Corporate Hill. But out in front, it's the same two at the head of the field as we've seen in race number 1 already today. It is, again, the number 33 of Burgess and Simon Hodges. Further back there, we've got a different Cavic behind the wheel for this race. Being the Driver B race, this combination have a couple of different drivers, and that is allowed. So it was Ben Cavic earlier on today. Now behind the wheel is Michael Cavic in the number 92 machine. So Michael making hay early and has moved up into position number 3 ahead of Brent Howard. Here is Steve Shelley, as I say, keen to make up for a disastrous qualifying in which he set just 2 laps. It was an out lap really and an in lap. He didn't really set a lap time at all, so he started at the back of the field. Of course, a retirement as well in the race earlier on today. He's made good ground though. He's already the A-class leader with that move on Inwood. Burgess coming under pressure again from Hodges. But as I said, I'll come to that point. The drama that happened post-race. It was penalty central in the end. Yes, Burgess crossed the line to take the victory, but he was slapped with 15 seconds worth of penalties for track limit violations. He wasn't the only one, but he got the most substantial hit. Oh, drama out there on the circuit. The 88 of Calabria is out. What a shame for the Evo driver. Clearly some sort of mechanical issue has brought that car to a stop on the exit of turn number 1, and that therefore will be a no overtaking opportunity. Local yellows for sure will be waving down there, and that means that the 31 of Hodges will not be able to make his way past. He's right on the bumper of the M2. Look at him. He's almost kissing it out of the final corner, but he's not going to be able to do anything about it down here. For sure there'll be local yellows, and he's not going to be able to even line up a maneuver as they come across the line. There it is, local yellows. Turn 2, though, is an overtaking opportunity. You can see the green flags waving for that corner, and Burgess is aware of that. He goes defensive, he goes to the inside line and forces Hodges. He says, if you're going to overtake me, you're going to have to do it the long way. And the Lubramax driver unable to do so. In these production cars, they do have a tendency to be a little bit pushy in the front, and it means an overtake around the outside of a hairpin is very, very difficult. Out in front, though, it is the York Developments machine leading the way. 33 car, York Developments, proprietary limited, BMW M2. But I'll come back to that point. I keep being interrupted by action and incidents. But yeah, Burgess got slapped in total with 15 seconds worth of time penalties for multiple track limits violations, and that dropped him all the way down to position number 4. So the race 1 order in the end was Simon Hodges from Thomas Shaw, then Matthew Holt in 3rd. Lee Burgess got a 15-second penalty, which dropped him to position number 4 on the road. And notably as well, Ben Cavich in the number 92 also picked up a 5-second penalty as well. Now, if he didn't have that, he actually would have also beaten Lee Burgess by a 1/10 of a second. As we'll turn our attention back to this scrap, the 105 of Fitzgerald and the number 1 of McMaster. McMaster is a lot faster through the twisty stuff, but as soon as they come onto a straight, watch this. Watch the 105 pull away in a straight line. The 135i is in another lead down the straight. Look at that. That's got to be 7-8 car lengths already, and they're only just coming across the line. Maybe a dozen car lengths. It is absolutely huge. It's over a second when they came, 1.6 seconds when they crossed the line. But straight away you can see McMaster closing that down through turn 1 and down towards turn number 2. He is pushing hard. The number 1 BMW, there's no doubt about that. Fitzgerald, actually, the 105, was another person to pick up a 5-second penalty for track limit violation as well. That was when Aaron Zerafos was behind the wheel, and that cost them a position and, crucially, the win, or a couple of positions anyway. So that was very, very costly for that car. Would have beaten Buttrose and Hazelton had it not been for the penalty, as the 105 of Fitzgerald is forced to go defensive down into turn number 6 through Corporate Hill. McMaster's going to try and launch a move here for sure. He's going to go around the outside. Oh, that's late under brakes. That's bold, but that is beautiful, and he pulls it off. Brilliant pass from McMaster around the outside. A McMaster by name, a McMaster by nature. That was fantastic. Brilliant pass. But I feel it might be to, not really much use, because I have a feeling, based on what we saw last lap, the inevitable is going to be coming, and that inevitable is a man by the name of Fitzgerald. He's going to come roaring past, I fear, down pit straight. And here he comes. There is absolutely nothing McMaster can do about that. What McMaster needs to do is overtake earlier on in the lap if he can, and pull that margin big enough to hold on to the lead down towards turn number 1. In fact, he's going to try straight away here at turn 2, but no, straight line speed again is not good enough between turns 1 and 2, and he's nowhere near close enough to make that one stick. Every time I try and talk about these penalties, more action occurs on the racetrack. Howard from Wazir. Howard also picked up a 5-second penalty in that last race as well. We saw him at the head of that brilliant battle, but in the end, because of that penalty, he lost several positions. So it really was penalty city. So car 6, car 33, car number 56, Jason Williamson also picked up a penalty. He's not in this race. And then the number 92 and the 105. Cavich actually got his for a start line infringement. So not in his box, I assume, or jumped the start slightly. Nevertheless, let's stop talking about penalties. Let's talk about what is on the racetrack at the moment. It's Howard from Wazir as they go through the hairpin onto the pit straight. Of course, Howard remaining in the car. It was Tom Shaw behind the wheel of the number 15 earlier. And now we have Wazir, who's going to have a look to the inside, a big look, but decides that that was not the best opportunity that he's going to get. He pulls back in line as they head towards turn number 2. Better opportunities will come for Wazir, but if he keeps making those sort of half moves, he's got to be careful if Inwood's right behind him. A half move like that, and Inwood will pick up the pieces. He's closing at the moment. Margin when they came across the line was 2.4 seconds. It's a lot less than that already now through the first sector of this lap. Yes, it's down to 1.3 seconds. You can see the little B-Class BMW is catching, sorry, A-Class BMW is catching at a vast rate of knots. Through they go. Inwood in the 1-4-3 machine. Harrison Inwood. Doing a fantastic job, as he always does, punching above his weight in the smaller powered BMW M1. Of course, got a variety of BMWs in this duel. We have the BMW M3 at the front, the M4 in the middle, the one that just got all squirrely on the exit of the hairpin was here. They're trying to get the power down, lost the rear end, and that cost him crucial traction, which meant that he was not able to get side by side through the kink, and again means that Howard is able to hold on. It's Inwood just to finish the point. We've got an M3, an M4, and a 1M at the tail of this group. There's the Holden behind of Seraglino. Through they go towards turn number 1. Past the commentary box on pit straight. 4.5 minutes, over 4.5 minutes still to go. Plenty of time. Howard darting, fully committed to the inside there, really closing off any potential overtaking opportunity out of Bond Bend and through the right-hander over the brow of the hill, over the access road and down towards turn number 4. Boy, does that camera angle show just how down it is. That is an awesome shot. Great place to watch from, actually, from the paddock area at turn number 4 to see the cars roar over the brow there. Always recommend watching. I noticed there being a bit more kind with the track limits. I mentioned, actually, in race 1, didn't I? Oh, they've got to be careful of track limits through that corner. And so it very much proved to be. They're all using their heads a bit more. The other one for track limits is on the exit of this hairpin right here. So Wazia is coming under pressure, actually, from Inwood for the first time. But yes, this is a real one as well for track limits on the exit of the hairpin. Look at Inwood, certainly now hounding Wazia. So Wazia has got to think as much about the move ahead as the defense behind. So it's always a difficult place to be in, a difficult situation, but he's mastering it at the moment, using all the road on the exit of the final corner, trying to maximize the run down the pit straight. Further back, here comes McMaster. He's trying that move again around the outside at the hairpin. It's not going to work for him, but he's going to get an almighty run on the exit with a great line. He'll have the inside for the kink, and he's done it. He's made it through. He's already got a couple of car lengths, but he probably needs about 12. Whoa, squirrely through the penultimate corner. He's trying, isn't he? He is trying to pull away. He knows this is another opportunity to gap Fitzgerald, and he uses all the road on the exit of the final corner. Is it going to be enough this time? Has he made that decisive breakaway? He's certainly thrown everything at it. No, Fitzgerald, I think, is just going to reclaim it as he's up the inside anyway. But McMaster, fully committed, throws it in at turn number 1 and says, this is my position. Position number 8. He has taken it. Great stuff from McMaster. And now he's got the whole tight, twisty section of the track to pull a substantial margin. That position should now be his. McMaster up to position number 8. And the funny thing is that wasn't even for class position. That is only for outright honours. Outright 8th position in this race. Look at that. He's already pulled out 1.4 seconds on his fellow BMW driver. Certainly BMW domination, isn't it? The top half a dozen positions locked out by the German brand. Burgess, Hodges, Cavic, the top 3. This is 4 to 6. Howard, Wazia, and Inwood. And what a battle it has been. We haven't seen too many overtakes. It's just been good quality racing action. So they're going to catch up to the Toyota 86 driver of Italiano. down towards the end of this race, I feel, as Wazir has a look up the inside to no avail. He's got to really try and launch a more committed move. He's had a couple of looks, but if you keep looking, you're never going to make the move. You have to send it at some point if you want to take that place. It's almost trying to force Wazir, he's trying to force Howard, into a mistake as Wazir. He just needs to send it. Just needs to have a crack. With a minute left to go, you don't want to die wondering. As they exit out of the final sequence of corners, time is ticking by. Burgess from Hodges, of course. Burgess stripped of that race victory post-race earlier on today. This one, I hope he's kept it within track limits. I think he has. But to be fair, we haven't been seeing too much of them. We've been, as we should have been, focused on the fight for fourth, which has been an absolute barnstormer of a race. It's very much just a fight between these two, though. Cavic, 9 seconds further behind, just coming out of the final corner now. Burgess from Hodges. Down into the corner again on this final lap. Burgess goes defensive into turn number 2. And again, I don't really think he needed to. Hodges was not close enough at all to launch a move into Bond Bend. But nevertheless, he's got a good exit out of the corner, out of the hairpin. And he's pulled away in the opening section of this, the final lap of the race. Margin is 0.8 of a second officially. The yellow headlights are ablaze on the front of the Burgess machine. Putting the pedal to the metal, just trying to extend that margin. ABS being fully utilised into the left-hander. You can see the brake lights flashing. It shows in these production cars when the ABS is being used. Hodges is running out of time here, and I think, if anything, he's falling a little bit further back. 0.8 was the margin at the start of the second sector. It's, as they come out, as it increased, it has by 0.5 tenth. Not very much, but that might just be enough for Burgess. He's really controlled this one once again out in front, showing that now he's got the equipment. He is capable of taking the fight to anyone. Out of the final corner he comes. He will greet the checkered flag first, and hopefully there's no post-race penalties this time. And he takes the victory. Burgess from Hodges, the margin just over 0.6 of a second. Cavic will come home in a lonely position, number 3. But a good job there from the second of the Cavic, as I say. Not Ben Cavic that time, Michael Cavic behind the wheel. Here we are then. Who's it going to be, Howard or Wazir, as they come out of the final corner? Wazir's throwing everything at it in the closing stages of this race. Here we go then. The drag race to the line. He's in the tow. He's in the slipstream. He's pulling out. This could be close, you know. Here they come to the line. Wazir's done it. Wazir has stolen it. The margin officially 1/10,000th of a second. Incredible. Beautiful sunny day here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Couldn't be better conditions to go endurance racing for New South Wales production touring cars. Green flag at the back. On the front row of the grid, you have our 2 race winners from yesterday, and they're going to go head-to-head down at turn number 1. An even jump between the two of them. Brilliant start from one of the lower-class BMWs straight through on the Tom Shaw machine, but she's going to lose out to Holt down towards turn number 1. So a bit of jostling further back, but out in front, it is Burgess that leads from Hodges. Our race 2 winner from our race 1 winner. Oh, very aggressive move there from Cavic up the inside. Fully committed there on the inside of the BMW. Got a couple of onboard cameras in this race, including this one on the number 88 machine of David Calibra, who unfortunately suffered a DNF in race number 2 yesterday. The Evo came to a stop on the inside of turn number 1. So great to see that car has been repaired overnight and is back fighting against the Honda Civic out there on the circuit. He's going to have a look actually up the inside of Gosling into turn number 6. Nowhere near close enough for a move that time by. Great action. We're going to be using this one, I'm sure, quite a lot over the next hour of action. So settle in, everybody. It's going to be a good one. Good old-fashioned touring car, production touring car racing. A lot of these combinations have 2 drivers. You don't have to have 2 drivers, but you still have to come in and make a mandatory pit stop for the same period of time. So to reiterate, everybody has to come in, pit lane entry to pit lane exit for a set amount of time. And, over the course of the race, that will all play out. So out at the moment, though, in front, it's Burgess from Hodges. It is battle resume. These two do not have co-drivers. They will be going hammer and tongs throughout this 1 hour enduro, and Hodges launching a move there, had a real good look up the inside, and I think the only reason that he didn't commit was because Burgess was closing that door firmly shut. Behind that, Holt set out the driver B race yesterday. He's back out for this, the enduro, in the ever faithful Holden. Just ahead of Cavic. Williamson was that fast charging BMW, the number 56 car, up into the top 5. He finished the race 6th yesterday. It was dealt a 5-second penalty post-race. Up the inside comes Cavic, late on the brakes. ABS brake lights flashing, showing how hard he was on the anchors. But that was a decisive move, and a decisive move that keeps him in the fight for the race victory here this afternoon. Holt is in a lower class, the A class. Got basically all the M class BMWs, they are all X. Then you've got a lot in A, such as the Holdens and a few others, the lower class, the slower BMWs, and then we also have some Bs and some Ds. I'll talk you through that as the race goes on. You can see the name Tom Randall on the side of that machine. Of course, that was driven by the Supercars, the many times Supercars podium finisher in the Bathurst 6 Hour earlier on this year, the Race for a Cure BMW M2 competition. Of course, raising money for cancer. Of course, Thomas has overcome cancer in his young life back when he was racing in Super 2. And of course, it means a lot to him, and year after year he continues to race alongside the Caviches in the Easter long weekend enduro. What an enduro that has turned into in recent years. A lot of these cars, such as that one on the screen, the Honda Civic, also takes part in it. Back on board with number 88 Evo driver of David Calibra, the PowerTech Motorsport Evo 8. I'll let you listen in for a few moments. Certainly strengths and weaknesses. Got 3 different cars here fighting for the same positions. We've got Sarah Gilio, head of Gosling and Calibra. So we've got a Holden, big, bulky Holden, a front wheel drive hatchback in the Honda Civic, and then behind that the all-wheel drive Mitsubishi Evo. So we've got rear, front and all-wheel drive all racing against each other just outside of the top 10 positions. This is position 11, 12 and 13 with Hazelton, who's made a very strong start up into position number 14. Got a huge shares with Master. Master is leading the championship coming into this weekend. It's been a tough one though. So many X-Class cars back this weekend. He's been just continually picking up the points in the first few rounds, but yeah, the big names are back in force in this one. Here are the different classes actually, provided to us by Blendline TV. So high performance turbo, That is the A1 class, and then we've also got A2 as well, which is high performance naturally aspirated, and there it is. Holt leading the way in that one, the sole class car in that one. And then we've got performance turbo, so that is for B, the B class cars, that is turbo for B1 up inside. It's a good look, didn't he there? Libra, but to no avail. He's going to get a nice run though out of turn number 5. A very, very good run. He's got a little bit of overlap. If he's later on the brakes, he'll make it, and he does. Up the inside. Good stuff. Great pass. Here then is a replay of how it was done. Looked up the inside here, down the hill into turn number 4, and that just put the Honda driver that a little bit wide and compromised his run. Look, he had to go defensive into turn 5, and a great exit. You can see earlier on the power, got the roar up the hill. He had a little bit of overlap, bang, later on the brakes, up the inside, using all of the curb on the inside. Clinical pass there from the Evo driver. Great onboard vision. Oh, we're on for the lead. We are on for the lead while we're looking at the replay. Up the inside comes Hodges out of the final corner. Did not see this one coming, so he's clearly caught Burgess off guard, and he's got the inside for the first corner. And he slides on through, so for the first time, incredibly all weekend, it's actually the 31 that's at the front. Yes, he took both pole positions, but Burgess led every lap in both of the first 2 races. Not anymore. Hodges is in front. Cavic is sticking with them as well. Cavic is doing a mighty fine job early on in this race. He is just 1 second further back behind Burgess. So come Sunday, come a different race. This is very much a different race. So many support categories here this weekend. So many categories, I should say. They're all equally matched in New South Wales. I should say how full the paddock is down the back end of the circuit. So good to see so many people here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Well, yeah, number 88, he picked one off on the last lap. He's going for another one. Surely that's not going to work. He's been left a lot of room, though, by the Holden driver. That's good heads-up driving. But he's not able, didn't have enough run out of the corner to make the move up the inside there like he was a lap earlier. But he's got better rotation. You can see how much smaller the Evo is. You can rotate the car that much easier. And he's attacking the P-plater through Corporate Hill. And he's going to go defensive. Down into the hairpin. In fact, understeer. Ran a bit wide. This is good stuff. This is really good, clean, hard racing. That's what we like to see in New South Wales production touring. Oh no, that's not good. Has that got a bit of front left damage? It's the number 85 of Sibai who's gone off the road in the Toyota 86. Not sure if it's made contact with a wall. Either way, that is not good news. Out of the corner, look at the Holden just pull away in a straight line. Look at that. By the time he gets to turn 1, there'll be an ant on the screen, through the windscreen ahead of him. That is a good 5 or 6 car lengths that he has lost out, but then the Evo comes into its own now. Look at that, through turn number 1. Might even be close enough for a move up the inside. What's happened here? Off the road at turn number 4. And I think that is definite damage. I think he's hit the tyre wall with the front left. So that's not this corner here, the next one. So he won't be able to launch a move up the inside here. Will Calibra. There should be yellow flags unless that Toyota 86 has got moving. There it is, I think, just on the left. No, that's the flag. So, oh, there he is, yes. So my eyes did not deceive me. He was still there, so that is not an overtaking opportunity. To be fair, though, it can be an overtaking opportunity. But you really got to line them up out of turn 2 into 3. And speaking of lining somebody up, a mistake from the Holden driver. And Calibra on the attack as a result. This is brilliant onboard footage bet the Blendline TV crew are happy they chose this Evo to put the camera car in. This is really good stuff. PowerTech Evo, another P-plater hounding the tail of Sergio McMaster, or the McMaster car, the Hazelton car. Oh, there it is. The badly damaged 86 is crabbing its way back. Oh, that's more substantial than I thought, actually, for Sibai. So he's going to struggle to even bring that back into the pits. That's a real shame for Adnan. Great to have him here this weekend. I'm sure he's enjoyed himself. Through they go. Howard and Wazir. Wazir has moved on through at the start of this lap. You can see at the end of the last lap, Howard was ahead. That is no longer the case. Wazir is out in front now. There it is, officially changing on the graphic for position number 7. Pleased to report that Shelley is having a little bit of a better day at the moment. Up inside the top 10, certainly anyway, a better day than the number 85, who continues to try and bring this really battered Toyota 86. So much more than I thought on those initial camera shots. He's going to bring that in, surely, into the paddock on the escape road at the hairpin. He's trying anyway, trying his very best to do so. Look at the Kavanagh Electrics sponsored Holden, really flying the flag for non-BMW competitors, isn't he, really? The only one inside the top 5, and still has visibility to the race leader at the head of the field. But yes, we are only 47 minutes. Sorry, we're only 13 minutes, 47 minutes still remaining here at Sydney Motorsport Park. What a day, what a lovely day here in Sydney. Sun beaming down on this spring day on the competitors. Oh, around goes the 352, who was locked in that brilliant battle with the Mitsubishi Evo. Has there potentially been contact, or was it an unforced error? There is the Evo of Calabria, and then ahead of Gosling, and now Hazelton. So what happened there? Not quite sure what has occurred, but nevertheless the 352 of David Sergilio has spun around. In fact, now the Honda Civic is attacking through Bond Bend. We look again through the different classes. X Ultimate Performance. This might answer the questions. No, it's an unforced error. Lost the rear, was out wide just a little bit. Carried a bit too much speed, and the rear end said no. Here we go from the, just too wide on turning in the marbles, and just about squeezed around the outside. Well, that was brave stuff. But no contact at all. That was an unforced error for Sergilio. That's a real shame for the Access Pipelines VF Commodore driver with his big 6-litre engine. He is going to plummet down the field as a result of that one. He's really punching above his weight until that particular moment in time. But that's a real shame. Out at the moment, we're looking at the outside. Just inside, now, of the top 10. Look at the classes continuing to come through. Holt, the only A1 class runner. Naturally aspirated would be A2. So just to run through. So you've got X, which is for extreme performance. That's what all of our BMW M-class cars are. Actually, while we're riding on board with the Evo, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. I'll let you enjoy this here at Sydney Motorsport Park. No, I won't. We just see it come down the pit straight. So X is for extreme performance. Class A1 is for high performance forced induction, and A2 for high performance naturally aspirated. The same can be said for B. So B1 is performance force induction, and B2 performance naturally aspirated. Don't have any C-class cars here. That's for your sort of hot hatches. yes, we do have the Honda Civic, but it's so performance enhanced that it's in the B class, not the C class. So your normal hot hatches are in C. You've got your small little BMWs and the like in D. And then you've got the very small capacity touring is what it's called. That's your little Mazda 3s and the likes of those sort of cars. So your smaller hatchbacks, I suppose you'd say. And then they have also opened New South Wales production touring a Class S for saloon cars, which is very nice of them. But sadly none of them here this weekend. Burgess is in the lane. The first of our leaders has come into the pit. So pit sequence has opened and will remain open now for the next half an hour. When do you pit? Do you want the undercut? Do you want the overcut? The 85 has also limped its way back into the pits of Spy. You can see the mechanics there just looking at the damage, the severe damage on the front of that car. Another one coming in the lane. That looks like Howard. It is Howard, the number 6 machine, who had a difficult day in race one yesterday, picking up that 5-second penalty for track limits infringement. Finished 9th in the opener and then 5th, recovered nicely to finish 5th in the second race in what was a barnstorming battle between several contenders. Howard, Inwood and Wazir. In the end, if you didn't tune in, Howard was pipped to the line by a mere 1,000th of a second. Wazir stealing it from him at the very last second. Hodges, Bathurst 6-hour winner, let's not forget, leading the way. And he's keen to make it a second victory of the weekend. Of course, he's shared the car in recent times in the 6-hour with none other than Jaden Ojeda, who's going to be racing the Bathurst 1000 in a couple of weeks' time in a WAU Ford Mustang. Certainly his best shot at Mount Panorama Glory in his short career. What a young star Jaden Ojeda is. Out onto the racetrack goes car number 33. Burgess out onto the circuit. Look at that. Exactly 1 lap behind the race leader. So that's very interesting. Or is it 2 laps? No, it'll be 1 lap. It'll be 1 lap behind. So he swings on through turn number 3. So he can't make too much hay, actually. Now the pressures have been lowered, which is what they normally do during a pit stop in production cars. You can change the tyres, but I didn't see any tyre changes there. That looked to me like just tyre pressures. But he can't take advantage of it because the race leader is directly in front of him. So when will Hodges pit? Probably want to stay out now, knowing that you've got your rival directly behind you. Maybe if he overtakes you, then you come on into the pits. But until then, he's got that bit of a buffer, effectively. He is his own buffer. It's a bizarre situation, this one. But, of course, Burgess is not going to be catching him if he's not overtaking him, if you see what I'm saying. It's a very odd situation, this one. Very rarely do we see this in motor racing, where 2 cars are fighting each other, but on different laps. It's a very strange situation. But the Lubramax car is leading the way ahead of Burgess, who is effectively in second place, but they are separated by a lap. Cavic is now in legitimate second position currently in the number 92 BMW M2 competition. Second of the M2 competition BMW is. And then we have the number 56 of Jason Williamson. He's really punching above his weight in that BMW M135i. I have to say, he's done a fantastic job this weekend. He was 6th in race yesterday. Out of the final corner, we look at also took part in the opener yesterday. Finished in position number 7, directly behind. Is ahead of Wazir at the moment. So the X-Class BMW of Wazir has fallen a little bit in recent times. Inwood in 7th. Steve Shelley in the Mitsubishi Evo is in position number 8. Then the second of the Evos, the slightly older Evo 8 versus Evo 10 of Calibra, is in 9th. Gosling in the Honda Civic is in position number 10, and then Hazelton, small Class D BMW in 11th, ahead of Fitzgerald. Those two had a great battle yesterday. Well, it wasn't Hazelton, but Master and Fitzgerald that had the ding-dong duel for the tail end positions in the top 10. Move for position. The Holden, though, just doesn't have the brakes, unfortunately, to make that move. But again, these guys are effectively racing each other for position, but they're nose to tail on different laps currently. It makes for a very strange situation in this race. Just having a look. To try and make the move on Howard, and he's got a nice run out of the hairpin, but he doesn't have the straight line speed. The BMW is going to hold on. That's the problem with that Holden. It doesn't have the straight line speed, doesn't really have the handling, and it doesn't have the brakes either. It's weaker in every aspect to that BMW directly in front. But what it does have at the moment is warmer tyres, and he's trying to take advantage of that at the moment. This is costing him time, because Wazia is now attacking him. So rather than attacking, he's now defending for a legitimate move on the racetrack. Yes, he's fighting Howard, but with all the strategy plays at the moment, this is very, very interesting. Oh, Wazia made a big mistake there. He ran a couple of wheels through the grass on the outside of the corner, and he could have very nearly lost the rear. Found himself having a big accident there, but he's been able to keep it together, keep it on the road, but he has dropped a hell of a lot of time over the brow of the hill. This is good old-fashioned production car racing, isn't it? This is what we come to love in New South Wales production touring. Really enjoying this race, seeing how the strategy is playing out. We've already seen a couple of the leading contenders play their hands early, including that car on the screen, leading this group at the moment of Howard. He played his cards early. What he doesn't want to do is start blocking the position, because that's only going to cost himself time. He might as well, if it moves up the inside, just let it go, then he can try and put his head down. So fascinating stuff at the moment. Really intriguing. Those two really the only ones that have come in early on in this race. Fitzgerald is tumbling down the timing order, but it's not saying pit. So I think the 105 might have come to a stop out there somewhere on the race circuit of Fitzgerald. There's the Milk Lab BMW 135i with Aaron Zarafos, but I fear Zarafos might not be getting a go in this race. Back to it. Number 9 goes defensive again on Wazia. It's another little bit of a look, doesn't he? But again, not quite got the track position he would have wanted through turn number 1, and Wazia nowhere near as confident after that mistake a lap earlier. Elects to just slot in line and hold it through turn number 1 with relative ease. Doesn't want to throw it off the road again. Give himself a bit of a scare. Learned his lesson, decides just to take it that little bit easier. So let's run through the order then at the moment. Hodge is leading the way by 6.7 seconds, but big but there. We know that the man who was in second position, Burgess, has pitted. He fell to the back of the field. He's already moving back through once again. He's overtaken the likes of the lower class cars of Butt Rose and Italiano. So he is moving through the lapped traffic. Well, not lapped at the moment because it is for position for him. Howard is also pitted. He is in position number 14. He's fighting these two cars he's racing with for position, but the other two are yet to pit, but they are effectively all racing each other. They were around about the same position prior to his pit stop, and this is why he is not letting them by in any way, shape or form. And there's no blue flags. Doesn't need to be in production car competition. Out of the corner, launching down pit straight. He goes all the way to the inside, and that's because he is pitting. Delaquino feels he's lost Too much time already behind the car of Howard, and he thinks now is the time to pit. I just need clear air. I'm going to see if I can come out ahead of him. Gosling is on the tail of Calibria, and Gosling's going to come in as well. So we are seeing a few more pit stops now. Inwood has also come in the 143 BMW, the M1 A1 class car. So getting a few more stoppers on this lap. We're pretty much now at the halfway stage of this race. You can see from the flags, beautiful day, a little bit of a crosswind. So nothing major, nothing to threaten them on pit straight. So it's a headwind down into turn 2, which does mean that overtaking into that corner is a little bit more difficult than it would normally be, because the braking zone is that bit shorter. It's not a huge wind, it's just a little breeze here today at Sydney Motorsport Park. Howard is remaining ahead of the number 15 of Wazia. As you can see on the side, Anton Di Pasquale drove that car earlier on this year. Through they go. This is going to be fascinating. So, expect to see the Holden of Delaquino emerge from the lane. The question is, will he emerge ahead or behind? It's going to be ahead, and it's going to be ahead by quite some margin. So Delaquino is back out onto the race circuit already. And look at the screen behind, because through turn 1 any second will be Howard. He's got a big margin. That's bigger than I actually thought. I thought he'd come out comfortably ahead when we saw him exit pit lane, but that's even more than I expected. And he's a big margin, so Delaquino has emerged from the pits ahead of the number 6 of Howard. Just behind these two fighting on the screen, actually. There is the number 56. He's trying to put Buttrose down a lap. There is Delaquino, still showing in the pits. Actually, at the moment, you can clearly see on our screens that that is not the case on the racetrack. So that means that he is... there we are, timing this now. Sorted itself, just needed them to make their way through to the next sector split. So now we've got our next bunch in the lane, including the number 15 now of Wazia. We've also got the 88 Evo of Calibra and the Hazelton car. Hazelton, of course, will be handing over to McMaster in this round of pit stops. And we've got our race leader in, okay. Our race leader, Hodges, is coming as well. So several contenders are in at the halfway point of the race. Why not split it? If your drivers are equal in performance, why not come in halfway through? Or split it into 2 stints for a single driver, reset those tyre pressures and go again. In fact, the jack's going up. We're going to have a tyre change on the Hodges car. Very interesting. Very interesting. Wazia is exiting the lane. Whereabouts is he going to come out? It looks like he's going to come out in some clear air. There's somebody else at the back of the shot coming in. Right, we're focusing on this man, Burgess. Look at him, pushing hard, using the ABS through the back section of the circuit. He has had a lot of clear air. Yes, he's was sort of in amongst the back markers, but he has been setting brilliant lap times in the meantime. He is going to try and take this race lead back by using the undercut. He was the first person to come into the pits at the start of this race. Is that going to pay dividends? We've had to wait no less than 13 minutes to find the answer, but we are going to find out in a few moments' time. Hodges remains in the pit lane. Burgess comes out the final corner. It's been these two fighting all weekend long. Here he is. Hodges is coming down the pits. He is on the power out of the pit lane now, and I think he's going to hold on. He is going to hold on, but he does have a cold tyre. We saw them change a wheel. So could that play a factor? Could this Toyota play a factor? No is the answer there. Straight up the inside of the Toyota. So there is the answer. He's got around about 5-second lead, I think, over Burgess. The question is, though, can Burgess take advantage? with the other BMW, the BMW M3 on cold tyre, I believe it was. I only saw one tyre out there that was changed in that pit stop sequence. We just dribble over the halfway stage of this race. Williamson is now pitted as well. Kavic is now out there leading. He had fallen around about 7 seconds behind this man on the screen the last time I looked, so could he potentially leapfrog the number 33 of Burgess, who is 5 seconds behind? I guess that's pretty good, didn't I? I said around about 5 seconds. 5.4 officially the margin between Hodges and Burgess out there on the circuit. So Kavic could be a threat here. Kavic could be a potential threat to his fellow BMW M2 competition car, the one we're looking at on the screen at the moment, the number 33 of Lee Burgess. Does a lot of endurance racing in 300s, Winton 300, Sydney 300 of course. He knows this track well. Normally at the wheel of an Evo, so he's moved up into BMW machinery, and he's looking very, very fast. Normally races alongside his father in those longer distance 300k races. Normally take around about 3.5 hours in length. So come across the line. Williamson now is the latest to come into the pits. Here though is Kavic, who is pushing hard. Holt, 7 seconds behind him, comes into the lane. So a large majority now of the field have come in and pitted. The number 15 of Wazia has now got Shaw at the helm. So Tom Shaw. See how that one plays out. So much happening in this pit stop sequence, but we do know that Hodges is in the box seat ahead of Burgess at the moment. Holt is in. Tyre pressures being adjusted. Oh, off the road. I was just saying about Tom Shaw, and he's gone off the road. The gun driver in the combination has speared off the road at turn number 1. It's dusty out there, isn't it? Look at that. That's certainly kicked up a fair bit of dust. So, not sure if the 105 BMW had anything to do with that. I don't think so. But a mistake from Shaw in these critical laps. He's trying to make hay while he's got a bit of track clear ahead of him. And that is not the way to do it. Firing off the road at turn number 1. Burgess in position number 2. Come on to those different classes again in a minute. So I just want to stay focused on this fight during the pit stop sequence. Oh, the BMW did have something to do with it. He had an awful lot to do with it, in fact. He was on the inside and not willing to move out of the way of Tom Shaw, who goes, no problem, I'll go around the outside. No grip around there. He found that out the hard way. Holt emerges from the pit lane. I just saw him there. He's not too far behind, is he? He's gained a lot during this pit stop sequence. So Holt in the high performance naturally aspirated car is in a legitimate 3rd position. What does that mean though for Kavic? Because Holt was 7 seconds behind Kavic as Kavic leapfrogged the number 33 BMW. Well, we're going to find out because Kavic is in the lane. This is fascinating stuff. Yes, they all have the same pit stop time, but of course you can be a bit slower in your transit time, so it's all about trying to fine-tune it on the exit of the pits. This has been a really, really good race. I've thoroughly enjoyed calling this one. See, Kavic is leading the way in ultimate performance, but not for long. He is in the pits. So as well is Buttrose and Inwood as well. Sabai is, but that is because of the damage after the crash earlier on at turn number 4. The Shelleys normally share the car. It's all Steve Shelley this weekend. Race of the weekend. Here comes Kavic. Here we go then. This is really the last jigsaw puzzle piece to determine. There goes Hodges. There goes Hodges. So now we await to see exactly which BMW M2 is going to emerge out in front. And it's going to be by quite some margin, Cavic. Wowee. Cavic then takes position number 2 on the road. But it is a change of driver, we must note. It is a change of driver. Both of them with the name of Cavic. So I believe it was Michael Cavic that did the first stint, and he's handed over now to Ben Cavic. I can't be certain of that, but I believe that is the case. So the main driver effectively has done the bulk of the race. That's why I'm looking at performances yesterday and who's done more of the race today. So based on performances, yesterday Michael Cavic was the faster of the two. Therefore, I believe it would have been likely that he has done the bulk of this race. Follow my logic. Into the lane comes Shelley. I think he is the final pitter, actually. He's the last of the pit stoppers. With just over 20 minutes of the race to go, there's still a fair bit to play out in this one. Yes, a lot of the pit stops have been completed. There's a lot to play out. Inwood has not returned to the circuit, I know. The 143 car just sitting there in the pit. So clearly a real problem for that machine. What a shame. That is a real heartbreak for the 143 car. Real heartbreak for him. To turn number 1. Hodges there at the back of the shot. We can see Cavic 5.9 seconds behind. Great stuff though from Cavic, moving past Burgess during the round of pit stops. In fact, Burgess is now coming under pressure from a Holt for a podium finish. So Holt looking to get a podium finish outright. On the screen there at the moment, we've got Delacino and Williamson. They're fighting for 6th position. And potentially 5th, because I think they should both move on through Shelley, who still remains in the pits. And just behind them is Tom Shaw, who's regrouped, reset, and trying to come back at these two after his turn 1 moment a few laps ago. Through they go. Oh, bad corner from Delaquino. Huge understeer at turn 1. And Williamson needs no second invitation. Straight through, up the inside at turn 1, taking full advantage of the understeering Commodore, and through he goes. And in fact, the Commodore looks like it is not nice out there at the moment. I don't think they went for tyres, and I think that might be a decision that they are regretting. With 20 minutes still on the clock, through goes Shaw, and I would not be surprised to see that number 9 Holden continue to fall down. You ought to look at it, it is understeering through every corner out there at the moment. It is a nasty looking racing car. Look at the margin he's lost already to Williamson and number 15 of Shaw. Shaw though is the man on a mission. He's going to try and get through on Williamson in, well, I was going to say the next half a lap, but as soon as he possibly can. No, that car's got a problem. That car's got a problem. It's got more than just understeer. Is there a puncture maybe? Maybe that's why it understeered so badly. I'm not quite sure, but either way, that is a sick and not running very fast Holden. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? With the Penrite logo on the front. Certainly looks immaculate. It's not going immaculate. Oh, there's something came off underneath the car there. Ah, puncture. It is a huge puncture. That was a bit of tyre that's come off. The front right is down. That's why it understeered so badly at turn 1. Through goes Shaw into position number 5, but I said, didn't I, straight away at turn 1, geez, that understeered badly, and that's what allowed Williamson to go on through. So problems there for the number 9 of Delaquino, who's had such a good weekend, as I say, position number 7 in the race yesterday. In the first of the races, the driver A race, but he's going to come into the lane and has done so. He'll plummet well outside of the top 10. That's he's still got a bit of time to move back through the field if he so wishes. So let's have a look then at the order now. It's all changed during the pit stop sequence. So Hodges leads the way by 6.5 seconds. He's pulled away from his rivals during the pit stop sequence. Cavic has moved up nicely during that sequence. He is now in position number 2, first of the BMW M2 competition BMWs. The second one is on the screen right there. And he is just ahead of Holt. So Burgess and Holt separated by less than a second at the moment. Beyond that, Tom Shaw is now in position number 5 in the BMW M3, but I'm not sure he's going to move too much further through the field. So Calibra, I think, has got a problem out there at the moment. He's gone down a lap. Position number 11. Turning our attention back to the order then, so Shaw in a lonely position number 5. Williamson is in 6th position. Steve Shelley has emerged out of the pits in position number 7, just ahead of Howard. The margin between those two less than 5 seconds. Gosling is in position at number 9 in the Honda Civic, and Calibra in the Mitsubishi Evo rounding out the top 10. Beyond that, Delaquina has rejoined in position number 11, just ahead of McMaster, who's leading Division D. And then beyond that, we have Serafos, Buckrose, Seraglino, and Italiano, top 16. Inwood has rejoined the race, I'm glad to report, albeit, as you can see on the screens, 2 laps behind Italiano in position number 17. And Sabai, I have no doubt we will see him rejoin the race after that hefty whack into the wall earlier on. The fight for third is on, out of the final corner. Burgess v Holt, out of the final corner. The run down pit straight. Turn number 1, yes, Burgess hold that one comfortably on this particular occasion. Lap record set here, 1:40.7 by our race leader Simon Hodges in his BMW M4. 40.777. So he certainly knows his way around this circuit, doesn't he? Race leader out in front at the moment. Margin remains about as it was, but this is the scrap at the moment. York Developments Proprietary Limited car and the Kavanagh Electrics Holden. Here they go. To midway through the lap into turn 6. I've said. So to start the lap, we're well into the lap, halfway through the lap, in fact. Been a good season for the New South Wales production touring cars. Been a long season for them. Their season was launched back here under lights on February 6th, where they had a bit of a sponsors day and ride day. They went a couple of weeks after that. Round 1 was at One Raceway. Round 2 at Winton Motor Raceway. I was lucky enough to be there calling the action for that one, and what a weekend it was. There was lots of action. Not as many cars though as we have this weekend, so really glad to see late on in this season, now that they're back in New South Wales, the big field of course for them. Bit of a flyway event at Winton Motor Raceway, and a few of them couldn't make the trip all the way over there, so but good to see them back in force here at Sydney Motorsport Park, which is where round 3 took place, a day-night enduro. And then the last round had a bit of a state of origin theme to it during much of that weekend. As they go through turns number 3 and downhill to turn number 4. There they go. Here goes our race leader, who's leading not only outright but also in ultimate performance. Class X. Burgess, Shaw and Howard. Oh, Shaw's in the lane. Shaw is in the lane. He'd made his way up to position number 5 and he is just pitted. So drama in the top 5. One of our X-Class cars has hit problems. High Performance Turbo, that is our A 1 class cars. That is being led by Williamson, who has now taken on the top 5 position in this one. So late drama with Shaw coming into the lane. So Williamson leads class A1, Shelley and Calibra. Ailing looking Evo. Holt leads the naturally aspirated class. The 2 class in performance turbo, that's B1. That is the Honda Civic that leads the way in that one of Gosling, head of Zerifus, that's now behind the wheel of the 105 BMW. There he is, our class B1 leader, out in front by 56 seconds from Zerifos. You may be wondering, I haven't heard that name, Zerifus. No, previously 105 was being driven by John Fitzgerald, so a change of driver in that car over the last few minutes. Continues to tumble down the order, looking at Division D. Is comfortably in that one at the moment, behind Delaquino, who of course pitted for his puncture. I assume that's what's happened to Shaw as well, who has just rejoined the circuit. So he's fallen from 5th down to 9th. He's got a fair bit of time on his side. Still a quarter of the race still to go. And the battle for position number 3 continues to go on. Of people may have gone through the pits a bit too quickly. I think there might be some penalties coming potentially for a few of our key runners, including number 92. Yeah, pit lane speed. I think a penalty might be coming for Cabbage, which could be more late race drama potentially. For the number 92, who picked up a post-race penalty in race number 1, I think it was yesterday, for track limits infringement. No, that was start line infringement actually for number 92. So some more penalties, some more drama coming in this race. 12 minutes left on the clock. 3:52 of Sarah. Running too quickly at the moment. Since that spin, car's never really got going again. In position number 15 and falling away from some lower class cars. In fact, it's going to go a lap down to McMaster, incredibly. So McMaster will fly on by. Yeah, straight once again. 12 minutes remaining in this one. Great series, this run in New South Wales. Series that was founded back in 2002 and with its immediate popularity in 2003 gained full New South Wales Championship status over the years, racing at Eastern Creek, which is where we are this weekend, Sydney Motorsport Park, formerly known as East Creek, as well as Wakefield Park, now known as One Raceway, and the now defunct, sadly, Oran Park circuit. A couple of rounds have been held over the years at Winton, as I say, in Victoria, and also Sandown Raceway as well. They have sprint races on Saturday and an enduro on Sunday. Some events also have a couple of enduros, but this one just the one for the weekend. And great to see so many cars, as I say, 18 here this weekend, 18 cars. I'm just seeing a penalty for car number 2. So the post-race penalty will be ended for pit lane speeding and also a start line infringement. So 2 penalties coming through. 2. 35 seconds that will be, so that will potentially plummet this car down the order. Maybe not. Looking at the moment, will only fall behind these 2. So that will be off the podium. Will definitely be off the podium. They go. Time ticking by, as I say. So this is effectively now for second position with those penalties coming through. There might be some more as well. There might be some more penalties potentially coming through, but let's remember that Cavic one in the back of our minds. Car number 92, over half a minute in penalties for pit lane speeding and also for a start line infringement. So again, Cavic 2 days in a row being slapped with a start line infringement penalty. Burgess slides it through the king. He's trying everything to hold off Holt at the moment, and he is doing so, to be fair. But Holt is certainly looking the more stable of these two machines, which you don't very often say when a Holden is racing a BMW M-Class car. But again, on the exit of the corner, Kevlar sponsored machine cannot do anything. The Kevlar Electrics machine slots back in line once again. Oh, he's a bit squirrely through there though, isn't he? Very squirrely through turn number 1. And then close in on the 105 of Zarafos. He's going to go a lap down. Hodges continues to lead by a margin of 8 seconds, but effectively it's a margin of 16 seconds with Kevic's penalty. There is Shaw, who is in position number 10. Keen to move back forwards. He's actually, I think, lost a position since emerging from the pits. I think Delaquino has gone past him, so maybe they told him, just pull it back a little bit. We're not going to make it if you drive like that again. We will go through another set of tyres. Behind that, I think that was Calibra. He's locked in combat with somebody. I don't think that was full position, though. I think that was him trying to put a car down a lap. Or he was being lapped. Not quite sure there. Couldn't quite see what the other car was. 7 minutes remain in this race. It's calmed down a little bit for the moment, but certainly in that pit stop sequence, it was electric out there on the circuit here at Sydney Motorsport Park. 1 round still to go for these guys at one raceway in late October. Should be a cracking event where they started. They'll finish there as well. Of course, one raceway, a unique circuit in Australia in which it can be driven in both directions. A lot of tracks have different variations of circuits, different layouts, but one raceway, just the one layout, but you can do it both directions. Very unique quality to that venue. Oh, here we are for position number 9. Great exit there from young Tom Shaw, who breezes past Delaquino down the straight and moves himself up into position number 9. But I don't think he's going to get any higher than that. I don't think he will at all. There's 40 seconds. What's this a replay of down at turn number 6? Oh, a big mistake. Running wide, a big error for the 352 machine. David Seraglino Access Pipelines sponsored car. Through they go up the inside of one of our D-Class BMWs. So through now is Shaw, but as I say, look at that, 40 seconds to Gosling, the little Honda Civic. Yeah, okay, he's in an X-Class car compared to a B-Class car. But when you're 40 seconds behind with 5 minutes to go, I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to give it a good crack, though. He'll give it his all. But I think it might be too limited success. Through Corporate Hill, towards the hairpin. We're getting towards the closing stages now of this one. Hodges is going to put his fellow X-Class car Howard down a lap if he can do it up the inside here at turn number 2, and does so. Just seeing a couple more penalties coming in as well. Pit lane speeding as well for car 352, a 90-second penalty. What speed was he doing? What speed was he doing to get a 90-second penalty? He must have been flat out, quite frankly. That's bizarre. That is insane. 90 seconds, pit lane speed. That can't mean the actual speed itself. That must mean the transit time, to which I said you can't break under the minimum. So he must have been well under it, well under it. Must have just done a normal pit stop or something. So a 90-second penalty for car 352. That was the Access Pipelines VF Commodore that we just saw running off the road. That's going to make probably a little difference. It's 90 seconds ahead of Italiano at the moment. And then 143 has also picked up a 5-second penalty. I'm not sure actually what that is for. Bathurst car. Yeah, too little avail. He's a lap down, so that makes no difference. The only one of significant note that has race-changing altercations is the number 92 machine, as we say. 35 seconds worth of penalties as Holt had a big look up the inside there. Didn't see on Burgess. That's his biggest look yet, and he's made a nice run out of the corner as well. He pulls to the inside, but Burgess with the straight line poke will easily hold on once again, but that was the best look yet. You can see him really try and crank the car up the inside into the final corner. Got all loose out of the penultimate corner as he tried to get the exit to launch his nose up the inside, but it didn't quite pay off. He's got to do it soon. He's only got 3 minutes left. He's having another look, showing the nose. He knows if he can just get half a car up the inside, that means Burgess has to leave him a bit of room, and that changes the ball game. That changes the equation entirely. That is why he's just trying to squeeze his car up the inside where he possibly can. These two are fighting vigorously. Oh no, the Evo, the number 88, our onboard cameraman, has pulled off to the inside. That's a real shame for the Calibras, both of them out of this race. That is a real shame for them. So late on in the piece with just 2 minutes left on the clock. And that is from position number 13 on the road. So DNF there, I believe. I don't think a Control-Alt-Delete will get that one back going with 2 minutes left on the clock. Calibra is plummeting. So, 2 minutes left. Fight for effectively position number 2. Who's going to finish on the left side of the podium and who's going to finish on the right side of the podium. Cavic is 11 seconds down the road. He's not going to pull out 20-odd seconds, is he, in the next couple of laps. And there was the stranded number 88, Evo. I reckon there's probably 2 laps to go. This and one more. Kavanagh Electric's Holden just not able to fight the BMWs at all in a straight line. He must be pleased with this performance, to be fighting for an outright podium and beating all of the BMWs that he has, or beating all of the BMWs that he has here so far this weekend. This is a Goliath performance from Holt. Just a couple of laps to go. Down into turn number 4. Closing in through this middle section of the circuit where you'd think the light, small, nimble BMW would come into its own. Holt actually in the Holden. It's the faster of the two. Oh, look at him showing the nose there. The inside at turn number 6. He's not been as close this lap as he was on the last lap, where he really was able to fire up the inside and really show his nose. Closing stages of this one. Kavanagh just falling back a little bit through Corporate Hill and out of the hairpin. He's fallen quite a little bit back. That's the furthest he's fallen away. In fact, is there a problem? Is there a problem for the Holden driver? I was just saying what a Goliath performance it's been, but he's dropping away. He is dropping away at a vast rate of knots from the number 33. There is a real problem with this car, and I think it could be coming in the pits. Surely it's not fuel, is it? What has gone on? He's in the pits. Holt has come in the pits with just a lap to go. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. A podium position has gone begging. Oh, can you believe it? With just a lap to go. This does promote Cavic onto the podium as a result, but that'll be a real consolation prize for him. Can't believe it. I was just saying how well Holt has done here this weekend, and his race is going to end in the pits because I don't think they'll be able to fill that up and get it back out in time before this car comes back around again. He'll be in the pits at the end of the race and therefore counted as a non-finisher. Oh, can you believe it? If it happened a lap earlier, he'd have been all right potentially. Oh, man, can you believe it? Out in front, though, Hodges slapped everybody up to Steve Shelley. He's in position number 6 effectively now. Should, I reckon, finish in position number 5. But out in front, Hodges has been full class in this one. He took the lead early on with a clinical move and has never looked back since. Around the final corner he comes. It's been a great performance from Hodges. Checkered flag is at the ready. And he comes across the line. Simon Hodges wins the round here. Round number 5 of the New South Wales Production Touring Car Championship. Burgess once again did not put a foot wrong. Although he'll finish 3rd on the road, he will finish in position number 2 after the post-race penalty is handed out to the Caviches. And there is Holt. There is Holt. They sent him back out again. They knew what I was saying. They sent him back out to try and make it back around, limp back around, but to no avail. What a shame. It looks like he's not going to make it to the finish. So here's the order then. Hodges from Cavic, but that's before the penalty is handed out. Burgess then moves up ahead. Cavic finishing in position number 3 with the penalties added. Then we have Jaden Williamson, Shelley, outside of the top 10, Master winning Division D from Zerafos. Good race, that one. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Round 6 at One Raceway.
Yeah, Jason Williamson here in the BMW M135, the row before standing car. Just finished the enduro. It was hard work. It was hot. We come away with a winning class, 4th outright. Nursed a tyre for probably the last 20 minutes, and yeah, glad it's over. Thank you.
Yeah, really well. Started from pole. We got jumped off the start by Lee. He made a really good start, but we got past and managed the race from there. Just got a decent gap after the pit stops. Held it. The car was perfect. Tyres held up. So it was a great race. Yeah, the guys were on the radio every lap just telling me the gap and what times the guys behind were doing. So that was the second half of my race really, was managing the gap and making sure I nailed the lap times. And the car held up and made it easy for me.